methods of debate and arguing your case. And what Clement's saying here is that, look, just because these people were great debaters and they were great at using these methods of rhetoric, they weren't proving anything true or false. All they were doing was showing off their ability to debate. Because one day, and the arguments were won by the person who made the best argument, not necessarily by the person who had the most truth. And so Clement, we know from the recognitions, he was looking more for someone who could give a simple answer and give it in truth, and not someone who could weave these big, complicated theological type of arguments and win the debate just by confusing the matter. And again, I think that that's a kind of a sideways criticism of Paul, because Paul employed a lot of these Greco-Roman argumentative type of rhetoric, and he's well known for that. I mean, you could just type in rhetorical style letters of Paul into Google, and you'll find just thousands of these seminary papers that were written, doctrinal theses and such about Paul's rhetorical methods that he used. And he used classic Greco-Roman rhetorical methods like, strophe, antistrophe, soliloquies, and all these syllogisms and thesis, synthesis, or thesis, antithesis, synthesis, all these Greco-Roman styles of argument. And he wouldn't just give a simple answer. He would twist scriptures and misquote scriptures, and he would, for instance, he would take like Habakkuk 2:4, which says the righteous will live by his faithfulness, and he changes it to where the righteous will live by faith. Completely destroys the meaning of the scripture itself, and people buy into this because Paul is so confusing and so hard to understand that they end up just finding one sentence that they can understand and say, oh, well, see this? Paul's saying this, or Paul's saying that. Well, no, he's what a lot of people pick out and try to say, well, wait a minute, Paul is teaching pro Torah. They're taking out his antithesis. So Paul will present a thesis, his thesis, then he presents this antithesis, which is usually what people read to prove that Paul was Torah observant, and then he goes into his synthesis, and his synthesis is that there is a law. It's called the law of Messiah, and basically the law of Messiah just says you have to be nice to each other. He's doing away with the majority of the Torah and just concentrating on the love your neighbor as yourself, and he's forgetting the whole love Elohim with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Anyway, so all that being said, that's basically what Clement's struggling with, is he's not wanting someone who's good at debating to prove a certain point. He's just wanting to know the truth. He doesn't need a good, complex, entertaining argument. He just needs simple facts. Tell it to me simple.